Hi everybody. I just kind of wanted to explain a little bit where I've been for the last 2 years. I haven't made any videos in probably a little over 2 years. My family and I moved from Michigan to Florida. About 2.5, almost 3 years ago, we started the process because my health was really bad. I have fibromyalgia, chronic fatigue, I have immune deficiency disorder, and I have a form of congestive heart failure called postpartum cardiomyopathy that was brought on when my son was born due to doctor neglect. All of those combined mean that I have some really significant health issues because none of those play well together. When we lived in Michigan, I would spend 6 to 9 months a year locked up in the house, or if I did go out, I had to wear a mask and gloves because of my immune system being compromised. What you guys would end up with the sniffles, I would end up with pneumonia. I had pneumonia 9 times in 3 years. And the doctor said, you have to get out of here. And we really didn't know where to go. So we had been to Florida many times on vacation, and we loved Florida. And so we thought, you know, the cold and flu season is better down here. The warmer weather is better for me with the fibromyalgia. So we decided about 3 years ago that we were going to move, but in order to do that, Jim had to get work down here. For those of you who don't know this, my husband is self-employed. He does video production and marketing communications type stuff, graphic design, all that stuff, and so much more. But he had to have work down here. So in 2016, at the end of the year, we came down here for 6 weeks. We spent 4 weeks, well, 3 weeks over by my sister-in-law and her husband in Venice, Florida on the Gulf side. And then we came over into Orlando for about a little over 2 weeks. And we stayed here. And we fell in love with the Claremont area, which is directly west of Orlando. So we decided this was our target area. We were going to stay in the Orlando area. We got back the day after Thanksgiving in 2016, and on January 5th, 2017, Jim left Michigan, left us there, and he came down here. And he started getting work. He started building his business. And Stephen and I stayed in Michigan for almost 6 months. And during that time period, we moved my mother, my 84-year-old mother at the time, out of her 2,900 square foot house that she had lived in for 40 years. And let me tell you, she was a pack rat. So you had a 2,900 square foot house and another probably 2,000 square foot 2-story barn behind it that was craft room, sewing room, woodworking shop, garage, everything. It was crazy packed full. So Stephen and I stayed there. We got her moved into Jackson from Redford, Michigan, into a condo. And then we moved, then we got all of our stuff packed up. We sold her house, and on June 25th of 2017, we started our venture to move to Florida. And we drove down. Jim came back up, we loaded the trucks, and we drove down. When we first arrived, we lived in a house in Tavares, Florida, which is on a diagonal. If you look at a map, diagonally it is directly between Orlando and Ocala. There were many reasons we weren't necessarily happy in that house, but it was what we could find to start with. First and foremost, I am a city girl. I grew up in Detroit, okay? I was living in a small town where I had to drive 25 minutes to get to Walmart. Yeah, no, wasn't working for me. As well as there were some other issues, but that was one of the primary ones. So while we were living there for 6 months, Jim had gotten a 6-month lease. And while we were living there for 6 months, we decided to keep looking. And we actually found a home in Claremont, which is where we wanted to be in the beginning, from the beginning. And so on December 10th, we moved from Tavares to Claremont. On December 18th, my mother came down. She flew down for a visit. And on December 19th, we ended up taking her to the emergency room because she flipped out and we didn't know what was going on. December 22nd of 2017, we took her to the hospital or we went through major brain surgery with her because she had a golf ball sized tumor in her brain. She is now living down here because she couldn't travel back through the mountains and she couldn't fly again. So here we are. Now we have, in January, we went back to Michigan again, got her stuff and moved it down. Now remember, now I have moved 4 times in 1 year. And I've done it all with major health issues. So that kind of explains where I've been for 2 years. It's been kind of crazy. I'm still recovering. I'm not great. I have good days and then I have some really bad days. And I'm just kind of trying to ride all of it out and let my body settle back down again. But that kind of tells you where I've been. I am going to start making videos again. I am not promising every day because I can't. I homeschool my son, and with my health and that, I can't promise every day. But I will start doing them again. I will do some cooking videos, some crafting videos. We are going to do a house tour on our family channel and get that up and started again. But for today, I've had some requests to do a tour of my craft room, which is my pride and joy. I absolutely love this room. For those of you who don't know, I work with yarn. I do a lot of stuff, but primarily my passion is yarn, whether it's knitting, crocheting, loom knitting, whatever. I don't care. My favorite is crocheting and loom knitting right now. And we worked really hard at getting my craft room set up in a way that's workable and that it's easily accessible. And so I am going to take you on a tour of my craft room. So come on, let's go. Okay guys, forgive me, it's been a while since I've worked with the camera, so it may be a little shaky, sorry. I'm going to turn you around here a minute and you can see my craft room. Again, this is my pride and joy, Jim, and I've worked really hard at getting this all set up. Okay, to start with, I will kind of show you that it is, the room in our house is actually connected to our dining room. It was originally slated to be like a formal living room. We are not formal living room people. We live in the family room or upstairs. That's it. So this is right inside the front door, which is right there. So we keep it really neat and clean if possible. This is a fold-out table that lifts up. It's actually like a cutting table. So it folds out. Sorry, I know that's hard to see. But I don't ever really use it right now because Jim made this for me. This is the top. This piece right here is just a as-is thing from the IKEA department that, you know, they've taken shelves or cabinets or something apart. And we got this, that top is like $10. The bottoms are just, there are 4 of the cubby units from, like, I think we got them at Lowe's. And I just have the drawers, the pull-out bins, the soft cloth bins that I ordered on Amazon. And each one has different colors. There's yellow, brighter yellows, and then like the gold colors. Over here there's like dark red, medium red, bright red. So every bin is labeled with what color is in it. On the end here I have one of the rolling carts from IKEA again that holds, these are like my everyday scissors because I'm very protective. I don't let anybody cut with scissors that I either use on fabric or yarns because it dulls them. So these are ones that the boys can grab to do whatever with. On the other side is another 2 sets of the cubbies from Lowe's and the bins from, again, from Amazon. And again, they're filled with yarn. And over here, this set right here is another set. They're stacked as opposed to side by side like these. These are just stacked one on top of the other. And again, this whole thing is filled with yarn in various colors, weights, textures. Like these 3 are baby, or actually those 6 are all baby. These down here are cottons and variegated. There's bamboo yarn and then the crochet threads in the bottom. So it just kind of gives you an idea that there's various sizes and textures. This shelf over here, I know I'm a little close to it so it's hard to see the whole thing, but this shelf is all like working supplies. There's, you know, like sewing stuff, hot glue gun supplies. These are pipe cleaners. These are sewing and loom accessories, and like then these are really good scissors and needles. All of my loom knitting supplies, like the extra pieces for the loom, the looms and knitting stuff and everything. And then these are cutting tools, the rolling cutting tools. This over here, I know, I have a collection of crochet hooks. I know. But I love my crochet hooks, and so I just keep them in here. And these are my loom picks. And then down here, there's like elastic and a bunch of yo-yos. I can like walk to any color yo-yo and just pick it up. And another bin of them over here. Sorry, I threw that in on top because I didn't know what to do with it. So that's what's in there. I have Christmas stuff down there and ribbons and fleece and things on the bottom. Here are a few of my buttons. There's the 4 or 5 big ones there. And then over here in this container, or in this one of the rolling carts, the top 2 shelves are all buttons. We are working on how we're going to arrange those. They're going to go on the wall over there above the light, and we're going to move the clock up. Over there on that wall, we took pegboard and Jim painted it, and that's where all of my looms are hanging. And I love that because they're safe, they're out of the way. Because some of those, like those and the big round one, are like not cheap, so I didn't want anything to happen to them. They were presents from Jim and stuff, so I was very protective of those and moving down here. I think I wrapped those better than I wrapped my china. I have my winder attached to the end of the table. I have one like the tabletop ot light, and then there's one of the stand ot lights. In this cabinet, I'll open it up so you can see inside. Sorry, it's a little messy. I have whites, creams, grays, blacks, and down at the bottom are the really thick, like number 6 yarns. In this cabinet, in the center one, you're going to see my weakness. I have all the variegated. These are all variegated. These are all the mandala. These are Bernat Pops and the cupcake yarns. This is just variegated in different skeins and stuff. And these down here are the same thing. These down here are the ones that aren't quite as soft. They're like red hearts and things that aren't as soft, or they're really thick. So that's what that is in that cabinet. And then down here in this cabinet, it's just, I have like yarn, or not yarn, threads, and for sewing supplies, and you know, safety pins and quilting clips and things like that that I use in various projects. On that shelf is some of my scrapbooking stuff. I'm not quite as much into that as I used to be, so I don't have quite as much, but there is more on the bottom then. So over here you may see this, but some of this, when we moved my mom down, those in the back, we needed a place for her stuff, so I didn't want to put those things. Those are like things that wouldn't do well in the heat. So the lights, we got this light at in Shipshewana at the Amish flea market, and it is dimmable and everything. It's kind of fun. And then we've got that one and that one at IKEA. Up on top of the cabinets, I have more, that's where I have a lot of storage stuff. This particular one holds my knitting needles because I don't get to them very often. And that one holds felt pieces, just the square felt pieces. These are just storage. These are actually my wedding napkins from my wedding with Jim. But my best friend's daughter's getting married and has the exact same colors, so I held on to them when I found them because we may use those in her centerpieces. So, Lois, there they are. I have up here is gift ribbon, gift bags, and gift bows. Again, more felt and just an empty storage container. This one is scrap yarn, tissue paper, storage bags like the Ziploc and the vacuum bags, and this one is too. These are empty bins, and up here is just miscellaneous. There's some extra needles, some extra, like at the top are 2-gallon storage bags, things like that that are just basically storage stuff. Between the two shelves, I have crochet books and patterns, and down here is like an extra bag of yarn. This over here, that bag of yarn I haven't put away yet. This over here, I'm in the process of redoing my patterns and how I store them. I was keeping them all in these, but then I decided that's really hard because I have to either pull it out of there to take it into the other room and work on it, or I have to take the whole notebook and deal with it. So what I've done is I decided to take them and put them in these. So I have, I took my patterns, I printed them out, I put them in a page protector, and I have them then in these books. What I'm going to be doing is then as I finish each one, I'm going to take a picture of it, and kind of like this one, I'm going to take the picture and attach it to the front so that I have the pattern on the inside and a picture of what's in it on the outside. This up here, just this tabletop, is great working space, so I can figure out what I'm going to do and how to lay out a pattern if I'm doing it on my own. So, well, that's it. Sorry it was a little long, but that kind of gives you this tour of the craft room. If you want to know where I got anything, let me know. I can answer that. And it also kind of gives you an update where we've been. Like I said, I will be doing more videos coming up. Can't tell you exactly what days or anything like that because a lot of it's just based on my health right now. And I will increase the number and the times and stuff over time. This is something I really want to get into doing. It's just, I can't all the time, not when I'm sick. So we're going to pray that I get better because we believe that this is where we are supposed to be and that this is where we're going to see an improvement in me now that things are quieting down and I can actually do that. So I hope you guys enjoyed this, and Teresa, I hope this helps and answers your questions, and I hope everybody has a really good day. Bye-bye.